welcome to Casuals of Runeterra, a special episode that we promised. We're talking about the Katarina comic, issue 1. I'm your host, Ryan. Here's the other host, Edge.
We're getting back into another comic. It's been a while since we got to dive into a comic.
Yeah, I can't even remember specifically when.
I guess like in reality, it was probably the last Stardians upgrade.
Yeah,
update.
yeah, that's true. Those are technically comics. There's technically comics. Yeah.
But like if like next closest would be like maybe the GQ article. And that's stretching it. That is stretching it.
Yeah, let us know. I mean, we could just look, but why don't you tell us? Housekeeping up top. You can listen to us everywhere. Visit us at podcastcore.com for all of our info. Email us at podcastcore@gmail.com. Follow us on all the platforms. It helps us with discoverability. We appreciate it. And then leave a like and comment wherever you listen the most. But word of mouth has gotten us this far, so tell a friend to believe in the movement and become the change by listening to the Casuals of Runeterra podcast.
You know, at the risk of dating this episode, this is a beautiful time in America as far as saying, ride the movement. Congratulations, New York City. You did it.
So with a comic, you don't usually have one creator. So the credits for this one is written by Scott Hawks. It's drawn by Rebekah Isaacs and colored by Marissa Louise. And then, people did editing and logo design and all that. So shout out because it's cool. I like this comic, especially how it starts. And it's been a minute to get here. But it will add a lot of character to Katarina that you just wouldn't expect.
Yeah, and as far as I'm concerned, any content that is giving me more time with a character like Katarina is a good thing.
Gosh. All right, he's going to behave.
It's a good thing.
Don't act like you can be trusted. Don't do that. So, all good stories told in 3 parts. So this is 22 pages or 20 pages. So we broke this in like 7 pages per. And then, broke it up narratively where it makes sense. So part 1 starts us off at Stelkenmore, and a narrator is speaking about the current state of warbands 7 years after Borum Darkwill's fall from power. And there's this rogue warband that we see who misses that old barbarism of the old empire and take it upon themselves to bring havoc outside of Noxian borders. And these warbands also falsely fly the Noxian flag during their efforts.
And with this first image that we get to see is this warband, or at least like the high officials of this warband, and they are standing in a small town that is completely on fire.
Yeah.
It is like the first image gives you the silhouettes of what is burning, but it is otherwise just fire. So they have been very busy before we even get to meet them.
Yeah, and we see 3 members of this warband, one of whom is named General Rausch. I like that name. And as they kind of take pleasure in the destruction they've done, 2 of the members are stealthily struck down, leaving the general confused, and suddenly Katarina appears leaping through nearby flames at Rausch, and he immediately recognizes her.
And the images, as far as like the panels of his 2 officers getting struck down, is hysterical. Like it is borderline Looney Tunes. the hook, the hack, but then like the first frame bit with the guy being like, "What was that?" Like it gives it the old like video game, like PlayStation 1 era stealth game vibes. Oh, what was that? Oh, it was only an animal.
The art style definitely, I like the choice because it adds some levity to Katarina's character, which matches with her confidence in what we've talked about. Because when you read the stories, it's very serious, right? It's a very serious topic. We're dealing with assassins. We're dealing with an assassin order and the rebellion. Like everything is so hard edged, where this comic actually takes, like Hetch mentioned, a more comical, human approach to her character while not sacrificing on the details, right?
Oh, yeah, like, she's still appearing behind these guys
Yeah.
and absolutely destroying them.
Oh yeah, people are
But
dying.
yeah, but at the very least, it's like, okay, cool. Like this feels more like digestible
Yeah.
than just like, okay, like this is brought to you by HBO.
There's a panel I'll point out later, which is my favorite. But yeah, so Roush, seeing her, is still defiant. While on the back foot, Katarina reminds him that he's no longer general and lost that title as a deserter. Roush mentions to her that she's no longer even Noxian, and he yells out for nearby Noxians to come help him, and then Kat disappears.
And this is a cool little conversation as far as just giving us a bit of an idea as far as the time frame that this is happening at, because this is clearly not far removed. Like we're not talking years after the transition of power to Swain. This is happening fairly on the heels of it, and then it's, there are some nationalists who believe in like the sovereignty of Borum Darkwill and don't recognize Swain, and they're still alive. Which in Noxus, that doesn't tend to last long when there are two parties at disagreement.
Yeah, historically, we know keeping those people alive is not always the best option. But alas, we get a top-down view of the full regiment completely dismantled, leaving only him. And his attitude immediately shifts into telling Kat that she can't kill him because I knew you as a child. I served your father. And he mentions Swain turned on her family after overthrowing Darkwill, and Roush is the one defending her father's legacy. And she owes him, her father owes him.
And
He's
if
going
this
through it.
was
He's going through
if
all
the,
the feelings.
if this was on a game of Jeopardy, like if this comic was a part of like a subject in Jeopardy, this would be where it's like, what is copium? Like, this man's coping as hard as he can. Like, please don't kill me like you killed everyone else.
Yeah, and she does that. She reappears again, stabbing him in the back and calling him a liar. And she tells him that her father actually helped to build the Noxus his warband was trying to tear down. And also, his attempts to attack this town were failed. Like, since the people here were actually hidden with the help of the Empire, and since they're skilled craftsmen, they will rebuild really quickly and then they will be brought into the Noxian fold. And finally, she lets him know that his military record and his family record have been completely expunged, and now he has permission to die.
She erased him. Like, not just killed him, erased him. You are just an NPC that's on the screen waiting to despawn. That is all you are. And as for our show, we it's not official, but we can say with 100% certainty that we are the best representatives of the lore, and we are the best keepers of the lore. And if we say it on our show, it's true. But having said that, we will be able to get into like the family dynamic for Katarina more later on, because she's not lying. Her dad did help with the coup as far as helping Swain overthrow Darkwill.
Mhm.
So she's not lying to him when it's like, hey, you're trying to destroy the Noxus that my father built.
Yeah.
Because he did. He did. And there's a little bit of family drama because he did.
Yep. So that ends part one, takes us to part two, and we leap 2 weeks later, right? So 2 weeks later, we're at the capital of Noxus, and Kat's just standing, looking over the city, and she mentions Roush's family denouncing him to protect themselves, right? And it makes her think about her mother and her father, who never really accepted her for who she was, right? They kind of denounce her as well. And despite that, we're getting the sense from her words here that she loves Noxus and she believes it is beautiful. It's a beautiful place. And behind her, there is a cloaked man standing in the shadows.
And Lonely Island song The Creep starts playing at this point. It is cool as far as seeing that Katarina does have has something that she's fighting for that's more than just proving herself for martial prowess. Like this is This is a lot of more depth to
Mhm.
Katarina than what we've gotten before, because up to this point, it's just been, "I'm better than these guys.
Yeah.
Let me show you I'm better." But there's something deeper to it, which is a genuine love for the nation of Noxus.
Yeah, and she's not concerned about the shadowed man. She smiles without even looking at him and offers up her flask, and it's Talon. And she's polite, refers to him as brother, jokes about him giving her another scar, and Talon reminds her that, that was just in order because obviously he takes jokes seriously on their face. But he's like, yeah, that was just, that was a mission from your father. That wasn't personal. She knows that, right? She's kind of poking fun at the artist himself. Talent.
Dude, I'm telling you, I'm like, I read this entire interaction in the voice of the Chosen from Smosh because that's all I see now with Talon. So it's like, you can't let his disappointment in you decide your whole life. It's just, he's such an anime
Oh,
guy.
man. But yeah, he brings up the fact that, because he's serious. That's why he's here. He tells her that, your dad has been dead for 2 years. You can rightfully take the heir to his fortune. And she mentions that she doesn't want to do that because she thinks he wouldn't want that based on their relationship when he was alive. And she tells him, you can have it.
And it makes sense that she wouldn't want to carry on that legacy, not only because like she's in this conversation talking about how her parents didn't approve of her,
Yeah.
but her whole her whole self discovery as her own being was breaking away from his teachings. So why would she want to take on the legacy of Ducato? Like it's like, nah, I don't care about that because leaving the legacy is where I found myself.
Yeah.
So why would I go back? And Talon wants a home. Like
Yeah.
that's all he's ever wanted because he grew up in a gutter. So
Goddamn
he's
orphan stories.
ah!
So Kat mentions that, listen, I got a job. I can't chat for long. Talon brings up that she's wary of how much she approves, or he's wary of how much she approves of Swain, despite how he came to power, which was a very public event. Listen to those episodes. And Kat mentions that, the one thing Swain did was he turned his back on the history of thrones, right? With forming the Triferics, and that gave her confidence to work for him. And Talon is not convinced and begs her to follow her dad's damn teachings. And she ignores him and heads off saying, we'll talk later at our secret spot.
And this is like why we keep referring to Talon as being like the token autist,
Yeah.
because he very clearly is just worried about Katarina.
Yeah.
Like it, but instead of saying please be safe, please take care of yourself, it is like, oh, you can't be trusting Swain. He's got to be cryptic about it instead
Yeah.
of just being like, I care about your well-being.
So this is where we get to the estate of War Mason Kogan. And this has my favorite panel in it, which is her doing a backflip over one of the one of the walls in the garrison. And she has like this sleigh face on, and her hands are out swan dive style, and then her hair's like flowing in the wind, and it's just like she's showing off, but the whole point is no one is watching her. So it's like it's a perfect panel for me.
And she's having a complete inner monologue
Yeah.
about how to be invisible, but it's less about being invisible and more about being where people aren't looking.
Yeah.
And it's just Sakuga.
So as she's leaving through and having this monologue, she also thinks about that night that we've talked about. Listen to episode 178, 179, where Talon tried to kill her on a mission, and she doesn't hold it against him because they were both very young in that. And she learned a lot from that experience and ever since that experience, as we can tell by their relationship now, right? Post her father's death. And as Hetch mentioned, the one thing she does here is she's attacking in the middle of the day because she noticed that, guards tend to pay attention at night because that's why they're guarding. So during the day, they slack off. And as long as you're not where they're looking, then you can still sneak in during the day.
And by sneak, we mean sneak and be fabulous.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, basically just voguing her way into the room of War Mason Kogan.
Oh, voguing her way, no.
Sashay away. Okay. So Kat
Yes, yes, queen, take a sit.
So Kat notices that there's no tripwires, no traps in the area, which is a plus, but also should be suspicious if she listened to her father's fucking teachings. She encounters a magical lock and mentions how it would be easier if Talon was there to pick it for her, but he's not. He's on the other side of town. And she uses some special tech that she stole from a quote unquote foreign country instead. The device works, and she walks in and mentions that she needs to take another trip to Piltover.
And this is a nice little call out as far as to the world of Runeterra as a whole, and the fact that like these characters aren't shackled to their region.
Yeah.
They could go places if they
Yeah.
want, which is fun. But one of the nice things that is combining this with part one, because we know that Katarina like actually has a bit of like Noxian pride,
Yep.
is that this is kind of like harkening back to the Darius trailer that we got for the launch of Runeterra, where it's like this is the vision of Noxus that they're trying to build, which is all different people under one banner, but embracing the differences. So it's nice to see that she has found a way to embrace that ideal, albeit using it to try to kill people, but she's embracing the ideal.
Yes, Noxus is doing DEI. Okay, an important part of DEI is inclusion. That means being at the table. So we wrap up part 2 here, where now inside the room, she knows she has been kind of reckless lately, even by her own standards, but she believes and she's resolute that everything she's doing is for Noxus. Once again, this is important that Kat has an ideal because it gives her character depth, and we'll talk about that more in the discussion section at the end. But she sees Kogan and mentions, he's a hero of the Empire, but he's obsessed with creating new enemies and sending Noxians to die in faraway lands to fight them. And her father's teachings kind of come to mind, but in Kat fashion, instead of sneaking in, she just out loud says, "Good evening."
And she even gets posted up in a chair,
Yeah.
doing the full James Bond chair spin and everything. Like she is like, "Oh yeah, I'm doing this for the good of Noxus." But what would Pierce Brosnan do?
Question I ask every morning. So part 3, we start with Kat sitting in that chair, peeling an apple, knowing Kogan won't yell for his men to come help him because he's a good soldier. And also knowing, or Kogan also knows who Kat is. She's very famous, and it would be a fruitless effort even if he did call them. So there's nothing to be gained here. So he says nothing.
Yeah, and Katarina also like harps on the idea of like you're not going to gain anything by calling for help other than dead bodies. Like it's like okay, like either you can die or kill me, or I will kill a bunch of dudes, and
Yeah.
then we'll figure out
And it
what
will
the
be your
result is.
fault. You will be disgraced.
Yeah.
Yeah. So his only choice, I guess, is Kogan draws his weapon to stand his ground, and we get a bit of Sakuga, which we like here. And Kat dodges his first strike, turns, elbows him in the throat. She gains control of his sword hand, then thanks him for his service. She then uses his sword to stab him and promises he will be remembered with respect as a hero who fought for Noxus until the end.
Yeah, and this gives a bit of interesting look as far as like to the political dynamics of like the two victims, right? So we don't know Kogan's being killed because he is a threat
Yeah.
to Swain.
Yep.
Okay, that's the whole reason Rush was killed, was he was a threat to Swain.
Yeah.
But one of them was in open rebellion.
Yeah.
Kogan was not. So we don't know as far as like what he did as far as to warrant being killed, other than the fact that it's like dude's just picking fights with people. But because he wasn't in open rebellion, it's like, no, you're going to be remembered. I'm not going to erase you like I did Roush.
Yeah, there's a bit of nuance. There's more nuance with this second assassination because it is rooted in ideals of what the Triferis is trying to do versus the old way. And Kogan, although he's not a outward brute, is still functioning by the old practices in his quiet, mansion. So yeah, we're about to get a bit as we shift here to later that night in the shelter tea house with Talon and Kat just going back and forth over tea. And Kat mentions, her way allows for a sense of honor and agency in the way she handled Kogan, right? And Talon argues there's no difference in how he died. He's dead. And her way only invites unnecessary risk, which goes back to her damn father's teachings.
Yeah, and this is where we really actually get to feel the that's kind of more brother sister
Yeah.
vibe that has only been in name so far, but this is definitely like a sibling conversation for
Yeah.
100%. We're both here, we're enjoying our tea, and everyone on the outside is looking at us like, God, they are pissed at each other,
I
but
like, yeah.
neither of them feel that way.
I like that it's over tea as well in this secret spot because this is a scene that so easily you could do in a dive bar. Like if you were going for the hard edge cat, you do this in a dive bar over beers, right? So this adds an element to it and more depth to who Cat is. She's not just a random rebel who wants to get back at her father. There's more to it.
Yeah, like she's not just,
Pissing off
going through
daddy.
high school. It's not a
Yeah.
phase, Dad. Like this is I actually don't want to do your job.
Yeah. So Talon gets frustrated that she thinks that there's honor in death during service. And since the goal of all this is just to survive the mission, and after she mentions the hope that her father died feeling honor, Talon gets completely upset. And he stands up, he mentions whether with honor or not, you will be dead. And he storms off, and Kat doesn't really seem pleased by the interaction. And she actually looks disappointed in how that discussion ended up going because you can tell she was confident because it's comic, right? That's great. We got imagery. You can tell she's confident at the beginning because this is right after she did the Kogan mission. She's on high about her ideals, and Talon kind of pokes a hole in it and doesn't really lead to a resolution at the end of this, right? So she's kind of bummed.
And of course they're not going to find a resolution because again, Talon's not just going to openly say I'm worried about you.
Yeah.
And instead, it's just going to be like, all right, you know what? Fine, fine. Turn your back on the teachings. You'll be dead, and you won't care about how you died because you'll be dead. A nice other note that we get here is that as far as at this tea house, Katarina is known by the staff.
Mhm,
Like we actually get the name of the lady running the tea house, which is drawn,
mhm.
and this also helps to build the feeling of Noxus in
Yep.
the Immortal Bastion because again, she comes from a noble house. Like
Yeah.
she got money, she got money. So if she wanted to like have like a tea house that was like her own hideout, she could probably just be like, Dad, buy it for me. And so, regardless of whether she owns it or not, she is a regular at this place.
Yeah.
This is her spot.
Yeah, and you mentioned the depth, and I think that's why we're so excited we're doing this heavy Noxus. We're taking months to give you guys this content because it's one of those things where we saw what Arcane did for Piltover and how it brought it to life, and we're gonna get
Oh,
that for
yeah.
Noxus, right? It's gonna be cool. So this is like this stuff came before it, right? And shouldn't be forgotten as we get Welcome to Noxus.
And this is going to be the building blocks,
Yep.
whether it be this verbatim or not. This is the building blocks that they're going to be working from. So it's kind of hard to not get excited about like what can I build with these building blocks, and more just like see what they put together way back when,
Mhm.
and well, okay, like what's it going to look like now? That's exciting.
Yeah. And then suddenly a smoke bomb goes off.
That's also exciting, just not in the fun way.
And Kat quickly analyzes the situation because she's an assassin and her goals get lined up. So, first one is she can't see them, so they can't see her. Stay low, make sure Drawn and Talon are safe, and then find the assassin and kill them all, right? Yeah, she's good. She's good at this.
Yeah, and like for her, she goes immediately into work mode, right? Like
Yeah.
this is like now she's on the clock. And the only issue is that the clock is moving really fast. Like really fast. Like, I got 5 minutes before my shift is over, and I still haven't finished my report fast.
Yeah. And we already get, the whole everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Yeah, that happens immediately because the attacker strikes first, knocking her back. And he knows her movements and he's able to counter them all easily. She's starting to get a bit flustered at the situation. And then he mentions he'll no longer allow her to poison the family's legacy.
And this is where, like, if Katarina has her own inner monologue, like, I can't keep up. I never could keep up. And it's like, oh no.
Yep.
We know who this is.
Yeah.
And that means that some of our information's very wrong.
So the story ends with a shot of Drawn and Kat knocked out, and an assassin removes his cowl to reveal it is her father, Marcus du Cateau. And that's where the comic issue number 1 ends.
So dad is alive. He is
Yeah.
not dead. And dad is pissed.
It's one of those things of like, listen, if you're from a family of assassins, you got to see your dad die. You can't just assume he's dead.
You need to put him in the ground yourself
Yeah.
if you're planning on pissing him
And
off.
check for
right?
moles. Like you gotta make sure it's him, right? Like there's no like we have
I
we
want
have
the
living
dental
weapons in this
records.
world. You have to make sure.
Oh God, that's right. There's living weapons, so that you need the dental records to make sure that it's the right body, and then you have to like what is it in Supernatural? You got to salt and burn the body.
But this brings us to our general discussion section, and it's pretty simple. Comics are cool, right? I'm happy we're doing them again. But ultimately, this is the point of Kat's character development that I want us to get in Welcome to Noxus. I don't think we need all the pre stuff. I think most people know the story or understand where she started. We don't need young Kat and young Talon. I think I like this dynamic. There's more depth there, and it comes with the ideology piece that works in a world where Mel's coming back to shake up the government.
Yeah, I think having this version of Katarina, or at least like start in this time frame for the show, is also going to just give it's going to give the biggest range as far as what you want your story to accomplish in the world, right? Like, because we know from Arcane that it's not going to be exactly the way that the bios were written and exactly the way that like some of the other comics that existed before the show went. I mean, look at the way Werewolf Warwick and Victor, as far as like the dramatic changes to their characters, like both in bio and visual appearances as well. With the Arcane, they changed dramatically. And I think that if you start with having Talon and Katarina like at this older age, or at least like settle, the coup is done and we're getting settled into things now, that gives you the most leeway of what to do with the story. Because otherwise, like if you just jump into it, it's like, okay, well, how do we depict Swain's coup? And then like that's all the focus. Whereas with this one, it would give you room to see like what characters like Katarina are up to, or even some of the other Noxian characters that we haven't got to talk about a lot on the show. Like what is Draven's life like now that he's not just an executioner? Like he's a high-ranking member of the successful coup team.
Yeah.
Like, so what does life look like for Draven now? But it's all going to be dependent on what time frame Mel is coming home. Like and we don't know that yet, because what if she comes home and the coup just started? Like then this is not going to be the Katarina and the Talon that we see. But if she comes home and the coup's already done, this could be the Katarina and Talon we see. And then like the other reason, like if it started later, is like we might also get to see like crazy looking Cassiopeia, which would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. But this was supposed to be a short one. had too much fun.
It's never short with us. Like, what do you expect? I don't know how to shut up.
So we're going to run through this series. So expect the next issue for the next episode. But till then, as always, thanks for listening. We'll be back soon with the next episode.
Yeah, take care, everybody.